ASL Prime League.
Number 2 of the evening, and I really like this color scheme. I think this is way better than the purple and orange. It's festive in some ways. The contrast is excellent. And over here on the left-hand side of the map, we have our Protoss player from Romania. He is NightEnD.
I'm like really curious now. What is Canadian Christmas? Blue and pink, festive?
It must be. I don't know.
Yeah, must be. I'm a little bit worried now.
It's an almost violet tinted blue to me, so this is like it almost strikes me as Easterish.
I can get that. But
yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys, right hand side of Bridgehead, the man going hatch first. From Canada, it is Team Ascension's Bioice. Yeah, I don't know what weird holidays you got over there in Canada, but no. I don't know. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Bioice opening up with obviously the hatch first. Generally, we do see some wing aggression out of hatch gas pool. We'll have to see how that pans out for him, though. Bioice currently, like I was mentioning just beforehand, to Ender is 4-0 himself. He can go 2-0. He could have a cool match versus QXC. We're really just the giants of ASL StarCraft at the moment. But you know what? We'll have to see. NightEnD, the first to go in at least for a worker scout, and it's a funny thing because it's like you scout it, but it's still like, well, what exactly are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think anyone really, like, it'll be a while before anyone can really get the information down. Particularly since, one, there's so many more options, but also there's less indicators in some ways. The removal of some of the macro mechanics actually removes indicators of builds. Like you could usually scout, like a Protoss has this much energy, so they have this available to chrono this and whatever, and same with like mule use or something like that, but you can't really, there's less of that.
Yeah, so, and I think that's a really good point, also just pertaining to when you scout Protoss, they can do adept pushes off of one gas. They don't need 2 gas to make it. It's only, 25 gas to make an adept? So it's you can't scout and be like, cool, 2 gas. All right, I'm gonna go back and defend. But sadly, Bioice is really not gonna even get a scout here. He sees the cyber, sees a gate, but looks pretty normal. He can't assume that is the second gate though, because the cyber's already out. And there's the Overlord for Bioice moving in to get the full scout. But still, it's like you were mentioning, and like a lot of people have just said when I've talked to them about Legacy of the Void, there's so many more openers, not only because it's not figured out, but just there's a lot more openers. Yeah, Blizzard tried to add more core units, which provides more openers.
Yeah, absolutely, and just the timing being pushed up too, the fact that you're collecting means you're already further down a path by the time, a worker or an overlord or whatever is going to get there. Like, by the time your overlord makes it across the map, they could have, like, a Stargate done. They could already have picked their path.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. So, some ways that makes the Overlord the best scout unit then. So you just send it over. It hits, like, I think it takes a minute and a half, maybe. No, a little bit more than that. I think maybe a minute and a half to get across on Bridgehead, but it is always funny because when you do have the Overlord, you do kind of move in at the perfect time. But still, we'll have to see. NightEnD looks like he's going to go for an adept pressure. +1 attack, and shields is coming out for him. He's got a couple gates here, and he's also got the robo, so I'm guessing just for the warp prism, being very careful, you can do a lot of pressure off the back. For now, though, only 3 gates. Could just be what his standard is, what he's going to be kind of moving into. The Overlord of Bioice, though, is really suspicious. He keeps kind of poking in, trying to get as much information as he can, while Bioice on the right-hand side getting up to a quick 3rd base. Now, he's on 4 gas. I'm wondering if this is going to be Ravengers from this. He has Layer, no Spire on the way, but you only need 3 gas to push out Roach Hydra, so something else is going to complement this force right here, Ender.
Yeah, for sure. He's getting definitely a good number of the Roaches up, and they'll be there to face this Adept force. Because of the way they kind of do burst damage, they're actually a pretty good unit against this. they could just kind of target fire down. The Adepts coming in, seeing those there. Ghosting on up, but they're going to see these guys on the ramp, and something tells me they won't choose to use this. They did.
All I was thinking of is Estrella last game, and I was like, well, if you finish it, like,
yeah,
and I don't want to buy. Okay, no way NightEnD has lost right here, but that was 75% of his entire army on the map.
Yeah,
that was 70. Like, in Bioice having roach speed 6 seconds away, 8 more roaches on the way, and he is not droning up at all. I guess as I say that, he starts 8 drones. Caster curse right there, but that was kind of like, oh cool, pickup. Let's hit the back. On the other hand, though, NightEnD only now did finish his other 3 gates. Currently, he is on 6 gates, so you should be able to warp in enough stuff to defend this, especially with 3 pylons for photon overcharge. But still, that was a big oversight. Bioice, because of that, is maybe going to be able to snipe something here. We'll see, though. Very little here to defend.
Yeah, the multiple photon overcharges going off, but again, Adept's not great at like standing and fighting like this against a very tanky force, and a lot of them will get cleaned up yet again.
Yeah, I think he's very... Oh, the disruptor.
Nice. That probably saved him right there. He wasn't going to die outright or anything, but he was going to take a lot more damage if not for that disruptor shot.
Teleport to the 3rd base, by the way, to defend that disruptor. He's going to have his Purification Nova in just a couple more seconds. But what the disruptor always reminds me of, yes, it's kind of a skill shot thing, but the same way as High Templars is often, as a Protoss player, like, crap, how do I get back into the game? I'll go Storm, or I'll go Disruptor now, because it's just, what are the chances I can take out 95% of his army with one big, great shot? And that could be the situation, but Bioice can't do that without an economy. Currently, 44 probes to 67 drones. And, sorry, NightEnD can't do that without an economy, but I mean, the biggest thing that I see right now is, yes, that attack did get damage done and stifled it a lot, but it also forced out a crap ton of Adepts. And man, Adepts just, they stack, and there's a certain point where they take so little damage, they may be able just to run straight through this force, but they need to be careful about it.
That's literally what they just tried to do, was run straight through it. The shadows, once again, this time they are canceled.
It stopped. I was so worried right there. I was like, man, you can't do this to me again. You can't.
Yeah, the Hive is done. The 4th base being harassed a little here by a single Adept. Will get potentially picked up. No attempt to save him yet. No, just letting him die. The run by here with the Ghosts, yet again, canceled once more.
But Ghosts will be going to that top right location, maybe going to try to attain some kills for themselves. But like you were saying, Hive is done. We see Hydras on the way, plus 1/1 a couple away, and Vipers. Now, even though NightEnD does not see the Vipers, he does have an observer right on top of the Hive. So I mean, at the moment, he knows something's coming up next. All he's been seeing is roaches. He's still waiting for that tech choice to kind of pop out.
He should be able to see. He may have gotten close enough to see the Viper as he came down the ramp with the shade.
Yeah, but it's still kind of like he's got to make a decision here. He can rely off Adepts, but both players have transferred into the mid to late game stages of Legacy of the Void. Yeah, it's the 9-minute mark, but that is kind of... Vipers are late game Heart of the Swarm, so unless you're going for a really weird, like, anti-Colossus Viper rush. But for now, we'll see. Adept's good, Disruptor's good, but there's no anti-air. Oh, there's 4 Stalkers, right as I say it.
Yeah, possibly not enough. Well, the Disruptor probably an iced other shot. What happened there? Oh,
yeah, it was sniped. You can't snipe that, and still damage was done.
Yeah.
Hydras cannot go 1-for-1 with Adepts. Adepts just are so tanky, and a couple of roaches will move into the Adept force and get slaughtered. Defense was good. Yes, there is Photon Overcharge to do anti-air. I just was looking at that, but now, actually, NightEnD defends both really well. NightEnd's doing good. And he's actually killed a lot of the army each time, and it's really just going to come down to how passive he's going to play. He's tried to be aggressive a couple times, just kind of pulled back, but honestly, I think his force right now could smash through Bioice, whatever he has, unless there's a beautiful Blinding Cloud, which could happen very well.
Yeah, he's got still a pretty reasonably strong army. Disruptor's getting 1 kill. Bioice probably wants to be looking at taking a 5th at this point. He's actually maxed out, so does take this engagement here. I'm not sure about that. The blinding clouds come down. Immortals charging on through to the front.
The Immortals believed in themselves so much right there. Blink does come in handy, but it actually puts the Stalkers into a bad position right there. And it's kind of funny with Immortals now. They can't do what they just did, but it's so hard to snipe them now because they do withstand that 300 or maybe it's 200 early damage when you run in. It's 200 damage for 2 seconds, but they do have that nice little ability here. Again, the Roaches go forward, but the Roaches have to be really careful not to overextend too much into Disruptor range. Lurker Den is the poison of choice for Bioice here against his opponent NightEnD. NightEnD, we've seen Protoss overextend, but for the Disruptor shot, fantastic. Cuts straight through the army, and I mean, Lurkers are going to be good, but when you only have 2 Hydras, NightEnd's got the opportunity, he's got the tools to try to snipe this 4th base. Like you're mentioning, Bioice, he needs his 4th base. He should rightfully be on a 5th, but it's not quite coming down yet. Let's see if NightEnd can snipe it.
Yep. Blinding Clouds again, trying to push back. Disruptor will not land this time around. Again, there comes that Immortal pullback, but into Blinding Cloud. This blast taking out a significant portion.
And here are the Lurkers heading up on the back of the army now. Disruptors can kill Lurkers if they get on top of them. They're not one-shotting them, but they can kill them. We'll see how that actually works out, though. Still, Disruptors... I mean, this kind of looks like a PvP situation now that Lurkers are down, and actually Bioice just rushes forward. But the situation where you both send out your Disruptor Purification Novas, you both send out your Lurker shots, and you're like, you're kind of bouncing off each other. But Bioice is actually, he should not be doing this. He's trying to bait the army, I think, but he can't actually keep doing that. Beautiful.
One Lurker does fall. Yeah. And he's actually got none of his own detection here to take out the Observer.
Oh, cancels a ton of Lurkers right there. I think that was 5 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I think NightEnd's just going to push through this, even though early on, yes, Bioice, he had a nice Roach force, but the skill shots were so good that they just kept allowing the Protoss player to snowball right there. NightEnd takes game 1.
In favor of the red. And up here, that guy up on the top left-hand corner in the stunning red, representing not really Team Potato, but it's better that way. It is Bioice. Go Canada.
Team Ascension, Team Potato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. You know, same thing, Kappa. Bottom right, we have the Romanian Protoss player. In the blue trunks, it is NightEnD. Currently up 1-0. See what happens this game. Definitely, like both players sacrificed a ton early on game 1. Hopefully we won't see the Adepts just run in there because that is like that's like blinking into the wrong position, whatever. Nidusing into like the middle of your opponent's army, and then you're like, oh wait a second.
Yeah, I find I don't know. I find it absolutely clunky, like the actual commands for them and the way it works. I do find it a little clunky, so I expect to see people make errors in like canceling and stuff until people really get used to it.
At least they made the hotkey escape, so it's not like some random hotkey. So like in my head, it just kind of clicks. Like, oh crap, escape. It's like don't want to do this, so we'll be safe here. Bioice opening up the same way he did game 1 Hatch Gas Pool, and I love that from NightEnD. He's being really careful. He's like, maybe you could get out of the 3rd. Which we do actually see 300, 400 minerals in the bank. That will just kick in with 2 quick queens. Yeah, there's the queens and metabolic boost also. Should be, maybe it'll be a little delayed. We'll see where he goes from this. NightEnD though, I mean, being very careful. But it's interesting just from game 1 because it's like, maybe he's just making sure he wins. He's like, I don't want anything weird coming out this game.
Yeah, certainly possible. There we go. Little Lingies chasing down a probe.
This is like a dream. This is a nightmare for the Protoss probes. You know, the nightmare where you're running away and you just can't do it? This is exactly that. Like, they're always a second behind you, and sometimes they get you.
Zealot's going to save everybody.
It's not going to save it. He's screwed.
Sure he can.
Maybe he will.
Yeah.
The issue is the probe is never allowed time to regain its shields when the lings are coming after it. If there's a little bit extra time, the probe would be able to regain shields like it is now, but it's not. So that's kind of the key game mechanic wise when they were doing that. It's like, okay, you can keep running, but you can't actually just run forever. For now, though, NightEnD, I mean, he does have 2 gas in the main, adding on 2 more gates. I've seen Protosses do this exact build on Terraform. I believe it's going to be an Adept push from this. We'll see how that kind of finishes out. You can't hold walls for so long with Adepts. They're so tanky. It's the ultimate Zealot, the ultimate force field, whatever you want to call it. For now, though, Bioice taking the opportunity, saying, you know what, you're going to wall up. Even though you're going to make a massive push, it's going to be a little while until that happens. You're going to get your main and natural base economy to do a massive 2-base Adept push. And I can get up to my 3rd base. So let's see if this game he does Roaches again. It's not a quick layer, even though he's going for quick 4 gas. So I wonder for Bioice. We saw this in game 1. Generally, in Heart of the Swarm, you could get away with 3 gas. So I'm wondering if that's just a little bit of a bank to get a quick layer into Vipers, or just be safe, like have some opportunity, a little bit of surplus gas.
Yeah, it probably gives you a little more flexibility to respond to maybe what your opponent is going to do. Again, not everyone's, well, not only not everyone, nobody has really figured out what optimal is at this point, but especially with the game continuing to change all the time.
Yeah. There's some players I talk to, and I'm like, what do you think of this build? And they're like, there was a game where someone was proxy 4-gated, or 4-raxed, proxy 4-raxed, and I asked them, did you know? Oh, I think I was casting it. Was I casting that? I don't know, but I asked them if they knew it was like proxy racks because of the Reapers, the timing. He was like, I don't care about the timing. It's going to change in like a month, so I'm not going to learn it. Like, okay, then like I guess you don't win this. For now, though, like I was saying, it's a 2-base economy into the Adept push. Shields are still about 20 seconds away. You're actually more like 40 seconds. And +1 is still about 60 seconds away itself. So for now, it's an aggressive force of the Adepts from NightEnD, and I don't think he should have pushed in out there. That forced out 10, 15 Roaches, where he could have waited 1 minute, pushed in when relatively Bioice could have been droning if he didn't spot this attack coming.
Yeah, it does kind of reveal it there, especially with the whole force. He could send in 1 shade and take a look around. But
yeah, when it's like 25 shades, you're like, this looks fishy.
I think something's going to happen.
Yeah. For another, I mean, Bioice is a fantastic concave, and the Adepts of NightEnD are like, nah, I'll just like pull back for now. He's got Robotics Bay on the way, a Warp Prism, 3 gates, and really, okay, he feigned, maybe it was a feigned pressure. At least he forced out a lot of Roaches, and the 3rd base of Bioice only has 5 workers on it, so NightEnD going to buy himself as much time as he can to get up to Disruptor Tech and look for a little bit of harassment here and there.
Yeah, taking down both sets of rocks here. The Warp Prism will go up to the top of the map. He could be looking to do a little bit of a Adept warp in there, which can be quite annoying.
It does have that potential, but Bioice is going to have none of them rocks. He don't care. He's going to work on the rocks here, try to get rid of them. And NightEnD is a nice force, but he does not quite have the disruptors. He does have 1 disruptor, but if that 1 shot misses, he's going to be in a sticky situation between his 3rd, his natural base. Let's see, the Roaches move in really quickly. By the way, these Roaches are unupgraded. They do have Roach speed, but that's about it. Disruptor shot goes off, but there's just too many. The concave is amazing. More like the surround, actually.
Yeah, I kind of expected him to have tried to Adept on out of there, but he didn't really. Photon overcharges now on these pylons, but the Roach is right on top of them, limiting the effectiveness for sure. Warp Prism actually came all the way back.
Yep, the Select All Army hotkey kind of screwed with NightEnD a little bit. Maybe for a Disruptor, some Disruptor micro, but for now, 3rd base was defended, but at the cost of a lot of Disruptors. And really, now, what NightEnD had before was a nice natural base defense, nice 3rd base, and he just kind of got really quickly surrounded. But now he's only got the 3rd base defended well. For now, we'll see how he utilizes that. Start trying to get up the pylons. While on the other side of the map, as you guys just saw, Hive is on the way. I mean, Bioice, it's going better than it did for him in game 1, especially because he can take a 4th base, and it's a gold base. It's like he's on kind of the quasi-5th base here. So for Bioice, I feel like everything's going well this game for him.
Yep, the Warp Prism coming in with the old death balls. And will they take a little blast into the mineral line here? Both whiffing, I think.
No kills at all. It's got to be pretty discouraging in life. It's like, come on, guys, you got to get the disruptor shots off. Oh, well, I mean, last time we didn't really do anything. Do I really want to work for Ire? I don't know, man. We'll see. NightEnD, though, still, that's a formidable army. Bioice does have the advantage of he's got a little bit of creep to engage on, and he does have the potential for an amazing concave, but still, he doesn't actually have that much. Oh, man! Oh!
Could have been worse.
Not amazing, but still pretty good.
Yeah. Could have been worse, but still.
At least it bought time for Bioice, just a couple seconds. He's got Vipers on the way, 1-1 also, and Bioice is actually going to be split up when this attack hits. He thinks it's going to be a little bit of maybe a push into the main, push into the natural same time. For now, I mean, Bioice, he's been allowed a lot of time. NightEnD should have moved in a little bit earlier. It's just going to get worse for him, especially with Bioice finally taking a 5th base, and here are the Vipers now.
Yeah, particularly in a fairly narrow place like this, the Blinding Cloud could be a pretty big deal. Trying to get a really good concave here, and does, is our Protoss player. Limits the effectiveness of these disruptors a little bit, but still a few good hits, and this army's still pretty tanky for NightEnD for sure.
Yeah, is incredibly tanky. Not only that, but Blink is done in a couple seconds just to allow the Stalkers to go 1-for-1 also with these Adepts. Help the Adepts out a little. They're the Blinding Clouds, but guys, the Vipers, they do need to consume a little bit more to see depending on what they do. They could yank a Disruptor. That'd be kind of a cool move to kill it, but there's just no army left for Bioice here. Yes, he's got a fantastic economy. This is very discouraging. He just needs Lurkers so much quicker than he has in previous games. Lurkers are amazing units, and I don't think he can push out from this, really sadly. It's kind of a discouraging place, too. When you have the 5 bases, when you have the economy, but not quite the proper composition.
Yeah. It's, I think it just comes down to Roaches just kill too slow. And
this sucks.
That's kind of what Bioice was indicating.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.